Nothing falls through the cracks.
And they have so many different options. I mean, I worked with Cammie there at the Stern team, and she was awesome. But if you need an instant cash offer, you can do that. If you need to buy before you sell, you can do that. They have flexible fees.
They also have people that they represent that are looking to buy a home, so maybe they can make that perfect connection within the Stern team.
So don't put off selling your house or buying a house because you think the market isn't just right. The market is right with the Stern team.
Go online to sternteam.com or just Google the Stern Team.
Super exciting this afternoon. Jeff Kaplan is taking the show on the road. He doesn't have to go far. He's just going to go right across the street to the Delta Center where he'll be broadcasting live. Why? Well, because they're welcoming the new NHL team. There's a big kickoff party at the Delta Center this afternoon at 4 o'clock. You can count on Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news to bring you the latest, the exciting stuff that's going on with our brand new team.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, firefighters blew up some old dynamite right where they found it, inside a house in Holiday. Second, TikTok is promising a court fight now that Congress has passed a bill requiring its Chinese owner to sell the company. And third, there's a big party planned for the Delta Center this afternoon to welcome Utah's new NHL team. 70 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Let's talk about things that you could do to your home to make it sell faster. I'm going to boil this down, Dave, not only by the feature, but by how many days faster your home will sell if it has one of these things. We're so thankful to the Stern team. They always support our housing coverage, Dave and I going big all year long because we know home buying is a big deal for Utah families.
And it's a huge stress. I'm going through this right now. I'm selling my home. We found a place. We've got that lined up, but now we've got to sell our home. And it is nerve-wracking. And there's so much when you're trying to sell your home. You want to get the most out of it. You love it. You have an emotional attachment. But I think you got to step aside and say, okay, what does the market care most about? What do the buyers really want?
Yeah. I saw pictures online of your home. It looked good. Looked really good. You had a home very similar to the home I had. The split entry, different facade on the front. Yeah. Is that the right word?
Very similar.
Different. Yeah, curb appeal looked great. I thought you guys had done a great job staging it. And I told you, I said, it's going to go. It's going to go fast. So hold on. So let's see if you had any of these features in your home. I doubt it because we had a similar home.
Built in 1979.
These are the features that will help sell your home faster. It doesn't necessarily mean you should go out and do these things to your home. Rounded corners, believe it or not, really do help. That's kind of a new thing where rounded corners on walls. Yeah, you know, you have the square corners.
Oh, yeah.
And they get chipped up, right? They get so chipped up. You're in there with the paint. You're like, there's metal under there. The paint won't stick to this thing. Rounded corners actually sell your home. This is according to Real Simple magazine. 6.2 days faster.
Okay.
That's a lot.
So it modernizes it. It feels a little
A lot of newer
hip.
homes have that.
Okay.
Yeah. I did this in one of my homes, and it's a chore. I do not recommend you doing this because I had to take down a wall in the kitchen to make this happen. It's almost ridiculous how much effort goes into modernizing older homes, you know. A plant ledge.
What's a plant ledge?
It's a ledge where you put potted plants.
Oh, okay. All good. Like where?
I put it over the kitchen. It was literally over. It was between the kitchen and the living room. We opened up that wall and we made a ledge up there too. And then I built a ledge as well in the living room. We had huge tall ceilings. Like you couldn't even reach the ceiling if you had the highest ladder in the world. It was so high. So we had plenty of room because we needed more closet space. The house came with no closet space, hardly any bath. It was just modernizing an old home. And it's the money pit, right? It's the money pit. So plant ledge will increase or speed up the sale of your home, according to this survey, by 5.5 days.
Okay, so rounded
That's
corners
wild.
and a plant
This is
ledge.
crazy. Because for me...
So there's no practicality to the plant ledge or rounded corners.
Just looks good.
Okay.
Looks good.
So
It
this
did
is all style.
I will say, though, when we put the one plant ledge in, it did open up the kitchen to the living room. We had full wall space, and so it was very dark in the kitchen because it was east-facing. So once the morning sun went, the kitchen got dark. Oh, we had sun. We had it brightened up the whole house. It was a good move at the end of the day. It ruffled some feathers while we were doing the remodel, you might imagine. A frameless shower.
A frame.
You probably
No shower door?
Yeah, kind of know. Well, I think you can do a shower door, but you don't have. It's not that 1960s and 70s look. You know the rickety old shower door that you close it and open it.
Yeah,
we
okay.
all have those, right? It's 4.5 days faster.
Like the sliding door. You want one that you can open up like a door, step into.
A picket fence.
Stop it. There's no way picket fence is still on there.
I have a picket fence around my townhome.
That's right, you do.
I have a picket fence.
It's cool again.
Yeah, but they're back in.
Back to the 40s.
Yeah, it's
Again,
you know what
very
it
little
says?
practical
you know what
use.
a picket fence says to me? Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
3.2 days faster. This is wild stuff. The modern farmhouse look will improve by 3 days. It will speed up the sale by 3 days.
Is that the grays, the whites? Is
I
that
think
the modern
so.
farmhouse?
Yeah. It's hard with the older homes in
Joanna
Utah
Gaines, yeah.
to go modern farmhouse because you have, old brick facade outside that, and a T1, is it T111 siding? T111 siding, wood siding.
Isn't that the Terminator? The T111?
Somebody text me at
Arnold
57500. Is that T111 siding on most of these homes here? The stuff never rots, unfortunately. So you don't have a reason to get rid of it. Turf. This is artificial turf. 3 days faster.
Which is hilarious because the old artificial turf is the ugliest thing ever. And it has no practical use other than to break bones.
See, I would love to move into a home with artificial turf, the newer
The
stuff.
new stuff is so nice.
Yeah, I would love that because I'm always looking at my house that I owned when I had the yard. Wow, I was always looking for ways to modernize the yard and cut down on my water use. And it's a losing battle with Kentucky bluegrass and
weeds,
water
and dandelions.
sucking trees that were never meant for the desert. So that's another one. Turf. I would buy that up. That's expensive too. So I think that would really. I think that for somebody who wanted that in some spaces, maybe you don't want it everywhere, but it'd be nice to have that done.
Is there a solar panel?
Energy Star rated appliances 2.5 days faster.
Oh, okay. So not the solar panel generators.
No.
It's saying
It's not on here.
friendly appliances.
Do you know what is on here? A saltwater pool will improve the sale of your house, make it happen by about 2.5 days faster.
That's interesting because sometimes
do
you'll
that.
hear that pools are a liability.
Well, pools are a liability.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I grew up with one. They can get issues with the pool pumps. I don't even know if they have those anymore. They get algae problems. You got to go buy all the chemicals and make sure you're keeping up with it. Plus,
Danger.
yeah, you got kiddos that are too little to be around a pool, so you got to make sure it's fenced, or you got to put a pool cover on it. Do not run out and buy a pool in Utah.
Pickleball court?
It's not on here.
I value pickleball court over pool for sure.
Fenced yard. That's a pretty obvious one. That's a pretty. What do you think when you're looking at a house? Because you got to go buy a house. You're going to sell a house. What sells it for you faster? What gets you on that? I got to get this house.
Quite honestly, it is I can handle older, and I like newer. So I'll look at an older house just if it's well kept up.
Oh, okay.
So if it's fresh paint, it's not cracking, it looks clean. I think the older homes have a certain something that is endearing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to have the latest and the greatest and the trendiest and the modern farmhouse. That's not important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen older homes and very old homes that are very quaint and beautiful. So clean, updated,
No cracked,
well repair.
no massive cracked driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
And
tricky.
I can even handle, some cracks and some spalling.
Well, but when you
that's
pull it up
natural,
and the
but-
whole driveway's coming up, you're like,
Yes.
okay, that's $30,000. The roof just blew off in front of my
Mm-hmm.
eyes. That's $15,000. The fence looks like it's going to blow down. That's another $20,000. Yeah, these are the types of things. But if you're keeping up with that stuff as a homeowner over the years, and you're not at a disadvantage when you put the home on the market. So, and I don't know, maybe the market is so wild right now that those things don't put you at a disadvantage. But we appreciate the Stern team and all they do for us in supporting our coverage here, KSL News Radio, on home buying and home selling.
Yeah, if you want to learn your home's true value in 30 seconds, visit sternteam.com.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. Our top story this hour. Tonight, Utahns have the historic opportunity to welcome a new professional sports team to town. Ryan Smith, the owner, inviting people to attend a free celebration at the Delta Center where they will introduce the members of the new NHL hockey team.
We need everybody's help, and this is truly a community asset, and it is for the community.
The celebration starts outside the Delta Center at 4, moves inside at 5:30, where you will hear from the Smiths, who will introduce the head coach, and the players. In KSL News Radio will be broadcasting live outside during that event. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. President Biden has signed the bill. It will provide new military aid to Ukraine. The White House says it'll start flowing immediately, including artillery and air defense munitions. The weapons will come from existing stockpiles in the United States. The money provided by Congress will then buy new weapons from American suppliers. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average down on the day 122 points. The NASDAQ is down about 12. And our KSL weather, it's going to be nice and warm today and cool right off tomorrow. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:01.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
It's going to be here before you know it.
Here comes the summer, like a wave of change.
Soda Weight Loss wants to help you look amazing in your swimsuit and shorts, but you got to get started right now at sodaweightloss.com. No time? Try Soda's at-home program with all the support you need online.
I didn't realize how unhealthy I was. When you start losing the weight, even that first 5 pounds, this enormous amount of confidence starts to build into you. You start to realize, like, oh, this is possible for me.
That's Lauren, and she's let go of 35 pounds with Soda. With their help, I let go of 37 pounds, and I've kept it off for over 2 years now. That's because Soda works. It's absolutely changed my life. Soda helps you break food addictions and get healthy for the rest of your life. It's why they have more than 8,700 Google reviews and countless before and after pictures and videos of people living the results every single day. Go to sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and there's a good chance you've heard me talking about our free furnace sale. The one where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it, about $400. Well, we still have a few more spots on our schedule we need to fill, so I'm extending the sale, but I'm not quite sure for how much longer. Definitely no later than April 30th, and once I think our schedule's full enough, I gotta pull these ads, so don't wait too long to call and schedule your free estimate. The main reason we do this sale is to give you an incentive to help us keep our guys busy when the weather's mild. And thanks to your help, we're able to keep our guys and keep growing. So if your furnace and air conditioner are ready to be replaced, you owe it to yourself to at least schedule a free estimate and get all the details about our free furnace sale. Just to recap, when you have Any Hour Services install a new air conditioner, we'll give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free, you just pay the labor. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
For over 10 years, IVC has been holding an event to celebrate women. Mark your calendar for Saturday morning, May 4th, to attend IVC's annual Mother's Day event. where you'll receive a complimentary assessment, which includes an ultrasound exam and consultation with one of IVC's board-certified physicians. If you're experiencing any pelvic or leg achiness, heaviness, or pain, this event is a perfect opportunity to get some answers and some relief. Give yourself the attention you deserve. Pelvic congestion syndrome, or pelvic venous congestion, is an important but often overlooked cause of chronic pelvic pain. And chronic leg achiness and pain are often symptoms of varicose veins. Don't worry anymore. The physicians at IVC can help. IVC has been named the best vein center in Utah Valley for over 10 years in a row. Don't delay. Space is limited. Go to ivein.com or call 801-379-6700. IVC. Life starts when the pain stops.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, we are looking at a good drive on the Valley freeways, including I-15, both directions between Ogden and Provo. No accidents and no delays. Rekindle adventure in a place everyone connects with nature. Cedar City, Bryan Head. Shopping, dining, museums, spring skiing, tubing, hiking, biking, disc golf, and much more. Level up your adventure. Visit cedarcity.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
South winds push today's highs up into the low 80s, then temperatures drop into the 50s tomorrow with a chance of rain, and rain is likely on Friday. Right now we're at 70 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas with the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic have inside sources.
We're going to talk to Boyd about this. The elites out of touch with the American people, specifically when it comes to inflation.
Who are the elites? Am I the elite? I feel elite, at least in my own mind. I'm not entirely certain if I qualify, though. Boyd joins us right now. Boyd Matheson. This is something you've done a lot of research on. You've studied. There's been a lot of great, especially recently, some great research done. Scott Rasmussen, I know, has done a lot of work on this. But am I elite?
So I think there's two kinds of elite. There's the economic elite, of course, is one component. If you look at kind of a broader range, you could look at economics and geography and education. Usually is how we define those that are in the upper income level. They're living in places that have very high incomes and home prices, and they've all had not just education, not just secondary education. Most of them have PhD level education. So there's some very interesting things there. And then also just in terms of the economists in general, which is one of the things that we got to in the interview this week, is that it's economists that are really being out of touch with a lot of this. And of course, they're advising both the current administration and the former administration in terms of what you should talk about when it comes to the economy.
Yeah, I felt this for a lot of years, just as a news reporter, being in people's homes and listening to their struggles for decades now, since the 80s. And I've felt that the elites, whatever they are, sometimes I look at Washington, D.C., and I think that they're out of touch.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't necessarily walk around and think, the elites are out of touch. I just think in general, there's a lot of people who have, a lot of money or a lot of power who are totally out of touch with what's going on in communities all across Utah and all across America. It's just having traveled the entire United States twice in my lifetime. You just stop in small towns and feel like there's a lot of people who are out of touch. And Michael Powell with The Atlantic spoke to you on Inside Sources. He was looking at things like food prices, mortgage rates, other things affecting people who are living paycheck to paycheck and what's leaving Americans discouraged. So I want to hone in on about a 1-minute clip from your show, Boyd.
What I did is I looked at not just what is called the core inflation rate, but, all the various inflationary costs, many of which are not counted in that inflation statistic. So, for instance, food inflation is up 20% over the last 3 or 4 years. High interest rates have had an inflationary impact, particularly for working class and lower middle class people. So mortgages are going up. New car loans are vastly more expensive because of high rates. Credit cards rates are up. So I looked at a whole series of these things, and it frankly, in the end, it isn't a terrible surprise that a lot of Americans look at this economy, no doubt feel good that they're employed, but thinking, I'm falling behind, and I've been falling behind for a long time now.
One of the biggest complaints I used to hear as a news reporter, Boyd, was also this, that you go to the doctor and you never know how much something was going to cost in this nation. You have to be taken to an emergency room because you're in a car accident, and maybe it's an emergency room that's out of network. So you're stuck with. This actually happened to my family once. We ended up in an emergency room that was out of network, and the bill was so astronomical, and there was no recourse for us.
Right.
So there's a lot of layers to this. I understand the food component. I understand the car component. But we're wiped out financially.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting thing because it really is going to be in the middle of a lot of the discussions we're going to hear from now until the first Tuesday of November politically. It's going to be all about it. And so this is one of the interesting things we got to your point, Debbie, that problem is that Washington generally and politicians specifically talk to the American people as if they are economists, and we are not economists. So they can say things like, oh, well, inflation is slowing, and they can say that the jobs report was fantastic, and all those things are right if you're an economist. But we're not. We're consumers. And so that's where the big disconnect. The Biden administration is struggling mightily because the president's out there saying, we did this, the economy's great. In fact, some of them kind of look at the American people and say, well, you should be happy. You should be grateful. But they're saying, no, it cost me 20% more to fill my grocery cart. The price I'm paying at the pump is 50% higher than it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, I just paid $3.99 a gallon yesterday.
Yeah. And so there's this great disconnect. And so that further undermines trust in our institutions and those that are going to try to lead the country. And so to me, that was the really interesting part of it is that there's lots of things that are good and there's lots of things you can tout in terms of the jobs report and so on. But the reality for most people sitting around the kitchen table, it's what you said, Debbie. They're wiped out. Yeah. They're exasperated. They're exhausted because they're always running out of money before they run out of month. And so you can't put a lipstick on that pig and say, you should be grateful. You should be happy. Things are awesome because their reality is not quite so awesome.
Well, this is what makes me cringe. Every time I hear someone talk about inflation, and by someone I mean the president or, he's like, oh, we got inflation under control. What you're forgetting is I'm already stuck with the new prices. Sure, it's slowing down a little bit more, but that incredible 2-3 year run where inflation was going up, that means prices were going up permanently.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
Yeah, and they're not going down. And the only thing we have to remember is that when they talk about some of those numbers, they're not saying that it's going down. It's just growing slower than it was before. So again, there's that dissonance between what's the reality, what you're actually living. And it is.
Boyd,
it's a lot of spin.
You and I have worked behind the scenes. You were in D.C. I was with the FBI. I'm not saying we just spend time spinning, but we saw things, that were getting spun all the time. We've worked in media a long time. This just does feel like a spin, but I think this disconnect has been brewing. It has been going on for years. When I was admitted to the hospital to have our first child, we didn't know how much we were going to end up paying. I was just thinking about another ER bill that came in from 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I got an ER bill in my mailbox a couple of weekends ago, and I was scared to death to open it. Do you know, without insurance, it would have cost us almost $3,000. But because, thank goodness, pray to the Lord that we have double insurance. And so we were able to only pay $14. But there are so many families out there that would open that bill and get stuck with $1,000 or $2,000 of that. So I'm going back to the medical issue again. I think that's been a huge underlying issue in America that the elites, the quote unquote elites, have been completely out of touch with. You could even get down to ticket prices to go to a concert. Yeah, it might just be all fun and games, but families want to go do fun things, and they can't afford $200 a pop for a ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is where everything is going. That you can talk about it and you can spin it, but you have to get to the reality, or nothing ever changes. And so I think that's a big part of what we're seeing is that they just rename things. Dave and I were talking just before we started. It used to be we just measured inflation, and then that was not always such a rosy picture. So then they invented this thing called core inflation, so that you don't have to count food and gas. And now they have super core, which takes out some of housing and all of that. And yeah, if you don't count anything, inflation is zero. Dave, I'm breaking news with you today.
It's Skittles. That's all we're measuring. It's the Skittles inflation. It's the only thing and they haven't gone up a lot this year.
Yeah, and so a lot of people are saying, and a lot of economists have been saying, this is another new term they've thrown out there. Again, totally disconnected. This is vibeflation. It's like the American people just have a bad vibe now about the economy, and they just need to buck up and be happy because things are really going well. But they're not, going to the grocery store. They're probably sending someone to the grocery store. They have all the other options in there, including their entertainment.
Oh, boy. It's like if you're in a bad relationship and you're in a bad relationship and everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky. And you're like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that lucky for me right now. Boyd, thank you for joining us. Inside Sources today starts at 1. Boyd Matheson. This segment of the Dave and Dujanovic Show is brought to you by Window World of Utah. Call Window World of Utah today to replace your windows and doors without the hassle or baloney.
Yeah, thanks, Boyd, for bringing the spice today. Now I'm all wound up. I am all wound up. I would think about this all day long. Just stop the spin. We need to stop believing or buying into this spin. We've started to figure that out in a big way. Okay, we're going to go back to the big story of the day for American workers. 30 million American workers under what's called non-compete agreements. Means they can't jump ship, they can't leave their employer and start their own business because he signed these non-compete agreements. Well, the FTC just voided them. They voided them. Senator Todd Weiler joining us next to talk about a Utah law when it comes to non-compete agreements and what this new decision means for Utah workers.
Dave and Dujanovic.
A lot of us are filling our workdays with podcasts.
When you're working, go to KSLNewsRadio.com.
Click on Dave and Debbie's podcast and pick a topic and story link.
Podcast with Dave and Debbie. Then get to work with KSL News Radio.
Introducing Peach Doors and Windows. Are you ready to upgrade your home with stunning new doors but are overwhelmed with how to begin? Peach Doors is here to make the entire process smooth and stress-free. Visit their showroom to see their wide selection of wood doors, durable fiberglass, energy-efficient aluminum, oversized glass bifold doors, and so much more. It's not just about looks, it's about durability and security to protect what matters most. Let them help you find the perfect match for your home, budget, and personal style. Visit their showroom and see for yourself. No pushy sales tactics, only guidance from their experienced staff. No inflated markups just to offer so-called discounts. See their 5-star reviews where customers rate them on their attention to detail through every step of the sale and installation process. Amazing home transformations begin with windows and doors. Serving Logan to St. George, just Google Peach Building to see for yourself.
When there is gunfire near a Utah school.
2 students got out of the vehicle and shot an airsoft gun at 3 students in the parking lot.
We're getting information out quickly and responsibly.
The Granite District says they're working to determine which school the 2 suspects attend.
Verified facts only and no speculation. The more important the story, the more you can rely on Utah's most experienced newsroom.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. Listen, we're fiduciaries. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. Now, imagine how that would be if you could actually retire 3 to 5 years sooner than your plan was. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. taking into consideration any rental properties that you have, any pension income that you have, your Social Security. Listen, we put that all together for you in writing. It will allow us to build your income based on inflation. You know, inflation has been rapidly rising. You and I both need a plan that whatever we start out our income at, in 5 or 10 years, we're going to need 40% more income. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
You love the feel behind the wheel.
You'll love the new 2024 Acura MDX from Jody Wilkinson Acura. During the Spring into Performance event, Acura is offering 1.9% APR. Lease the 2024 MDX only $589 monthly. For offer details, text the word Acura to 57500.
Jody Wilkinson.
Downtown.
Acura.
1111 South Main. You'll love the new 2024 Acura RDX from Jody Wilkinson Acura. During the Spring into Performance event, Acura is offering 1.9% APR. Lease the 2024 RDX Super Handling All-Wheel Drive only $459 monthly. For offer details, text the word Acura to 57500.
Jody Wilkinson.
Downtown. 1111 South Main.
Wasatch Front Businesses and Property Managers. GoPave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking lot. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact GoPave Utah. GoPaveUtah.com.
Small business owners, we know tackling your to-do list can sometimes feel like going 12 rounds against a heavyweight champ. Except that heavyweight's gloves are made of something hard, like diamonds. So when a new to-do pops up, you're like, I can't. I'm boxing my diamond boxing glove-wearing heavyweight champ of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy with over 30 customizable coverage options, so you can finally land a knockout blow. See if you can save on business insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, let's meet the new hockey team. Tonight at the Delta Center, they're going to welcome the new NHL hockey team coming to Utah from Arizona. The party kicks off outside the arena at 4, and Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News will be broadcasting live just across the street. There'll be free food and again a chance to meet the fans. The fans can meet the team, the coaches. It'll be awesome. That starts today.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, the Delta Center hosting a big party this afternoon to welcome NHL hockey to Salt Lake City. Second, a stash of old dynamite was too dangerous to move from a house in Holiday, so firefighters blew it up right where it was. And third, now that Congress has passed and the president has signed the bill authorizing military aid to Ukraine, munitions could start going there within hours. 70 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top national story.
We went in depth in the 10 o'clock hour on this latest development regarding workers. There are 30 million American workers working under what's called non-compete agreements. These are fast food workers. Some of them are attorneys. They're journalists. We heard about a casino worker. So you can't just go across the street and get a job with better benefits, better pay, because you've signed, for example, a 1-year non-compete, which means you cannot work within a certain radius within a year for a competitor. The FTC just created a rule that says these are void. They're void.
And some of the non-competes I get. I understand it. It may affect me negatively personally, right? But I can kind of see where the employer is coming from, because if I bring you in, I train you, I introduce you to all this clientele, the trade secrets of the business, and then you just pack it up and you become my competitor, or you go to my competitor, you start a new business and you're directly competing with me. Well, what a complete and utter failure for me.
But they haven't said non-disclosure agreements are illegal. You can still be told to sign a non-disclosure agreement, which means you can't take trade secrets and run across the street. Am I right, Senator Weiler? You're also an attorney, and you've done a lot of work on this here in Utah. So non-disclosure agreements, you still can require employees to sign, but it's these non-compete agreements. So if I have a non-compete agreement, I want to go work across the street under this new rule, I could now do that, right?
Well, theoretically, yes. And, we had this debate at Capitol Hill. We've had it a couple of times here with the Utah legislature. And we've kind of set a policy for the state. And the fact that, Biden's administration is just going to eviscerate 30 million contracts and tell these employers who have invested all this money and their trade secrets into their employees, too bad. This is like the stereotypical federal overreach that I think most people fear.
I'm a little selfish because I'm a worker bee, right? So I do like when worker bees can compete and negotiate. And when you start putting in some of these restrictions, I understand from the employer side, but the worker bee wants to get paid as well.
Absolutely, Dave. And my question would be, what happens when people aren't willing to hire and invest in young people to give them all this training and all this time? Because look at Dave, if you and I had a business and we hired a kid, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid, knowing he's not going to make money for us for 9 months. We're going to spend 9 months investing in him. On the 10th month, he goes to our competitor and gets a higher paying job because we've done all of that training. That's what these non-competes are designed to, theoretically to prevent. And so it could actually hurt employees in that sense. I think this is a very one-sided argument that the Biden administration is making here.
Okay, let's get to what Utah law says right now about non-competes. Are there some protections in place for workers already, aside from what the FTC rule says?
Yeah, well, one thing we do is we limit it to 1 year. That's a relatively new law. And I know California has no non-competes, but most of the states, like 47 states do have them. And, so you can leave. And then they're also kind of generally limited they used to be limited more geographically, like within 50 miles. Now with the internet and with the, gig economy, that's harder to define. But, I think the 1 year gives that cooling off period so you don't spend all this money investing in an employee. And then, on Monday they work for you and Tuesday they work for your biggest competitor.
How much teeth is there to this? Do you think that this, obviously it already has been challenged in court, but what do you see if you're looking into your crystal ball here?
Well, I think this gets overturned, and all of our presidents recently have passed unconstitutional laws. I think Biden may be setting a record. This is the same president who was going to put millions of people out of work under federal contracts if they didn't get the COVID vaccination just 3 years ago. And so I do think that the Supreme Court, I know the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is going to sue over this. I think this gets struck down. I don't even think it's a close call. This may be a 9-0 decision.
Can we go back for just a second to Utah law so I'm just clear? If I'm working at a fast food restaurant, making $8 or $9 an hour, am I forced? My employer asks me to sign a non-compete. Can they do that under Utah law?
They can, and I do think that situation is probably an abuse, unless they're sharing like Colonel Sanders' secret formula with you, which they're not going to do that.
No, that's going to be a top level, executive who knows that.
Probably an abuse, unless there's some training, like if you go to Subway and you're learning exactly, how they make the bread and all that stuff. They may not want you to take that to their competitor, without sitting out for a while. But I would say that does happen, and that is legal in Utah. They usually do it, Debbie, right when they're hiring you, so you don't even think about it. They're like, oh, yeah, I want the job, I'll sign whatever. And I do think that they can be abused. But just to do a carte blanche, for instance, if I was selling you my business, hypothetically, and you pay me $1 million, and then the day after you pay me, I go out and I start my business under a new name, and I start competing with you for the clients I just sold you. Who's going to pay that money? I mean, that's a non-compete as well. And so there's all kinds of problems that are created if these are just all eviscerated with one stroke of of a bureaucrat's pen.
So, Senator Weiler, here's the thing. I like competition, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, generally speaking, I do.
So doesn't this inhibit competition when it comes to employment opportunities?
There's a slight inhibition, yes, but there's also the payoffs that I've been trying to describe. And so my fear, again, if you raise minimum wage to $20 an hour, a lot of kids are going to lose their jobs. If you do away with this, a lot of companies aren't going to be willing to invest in someone like a 19-year-old kid with no experience because they might hire them, again, knowing that they're going to spend 9 months training them before they become profitable. And so they're going to say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Senator Weiler, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's always great to talk to you, Todd. Thanks so much for giving us a jingle on this. I think it's a big development. We'll see where it goes in the courts. It's already been slapped with a lawsuit. I think the ink wasn't even dry. It won't take effect if it does go into effect for 120 days. We reported that earlier in the show. But yeah, there was an attorney in Texas who put his running shoes on and skedaddled out the door and ran into federal court and filed a lawsuit. Also, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is saying that it might take some legal action against this.
What a great example. If I were to sell you my business and then you pay $1 million for it, and then I turn around and I just rename the business, I keep all the same clientele, that makes total sense why you would want to have a non-compete.
We just got some news here. Speaking of the Biden administration, let's see if you like this new rule that they put in place regarding airlines. If they mess up your flight and you're sitting there at the airport for hours on end, you're going to have to get a cash refund now. So we're going to go over the new rules for airlines that I think are going to benefit customers in a big way. That's next.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. A home in Holiday is unlivable after bomb teams detonated some decades-old dynamite found in the basement. This was apparently passed down from older family members. Chief Riley Pilgrim with the Unified Fire Authority told David Dujanovic people should not hang on to dangerous items like explosives.
Definitely wasn't stored properly. It was in a location that is definitely not zoned for that kind of thing. I mean, unfortunately, homeowners that have a lot of things in their homes that tend to be dangerous if they are not handled properly.
There was around 25 pounds found in the shed outside and 8 pounds in the basement of the home. It was all destroyed by the explosions. 2 new names are being considered for Salt Lake City's new NHL team, the Utah Mammoth and the Utah Ice. KSL Sports reports the 2 trademark applications were sent into the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office today. That means there are now a total of 9 trademark submissions for the hockey team's name. All of these have been filed anonymously. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average now down on the day 44 points, while the NASDAQ has turned a corner and it's up 28 right now. And our KSL weather. It's going to be a warm day followed by a pretty chilly one. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Sometimes when we lose power, we think of it more as an inconvenience. But if you have important medical equipment, they could be life-threatening.
Or even if with an EV charger, if that is your only form of transportation and you don't have a working EV charger or you need one, you got to get a hold of Master Electrical. They do all things electrical. So, and for having that that generator on standby as well is so important, and they are a premier dealer for Generac generators. So give them a call. You've been talking about it for years, and now it's your time to finally invest in a generator.
And they don't only sell, but they service and they install these generators. So if you have any problems, you can call them, you give them a ring, and they will take care of it. The reason they do that, they want to make sure that all the installations are done in-house. That way, no third party is coming into your home, and then they can maintain the highest standards for the homeowner.
Yeah, if the power goes out, you'll definitely want a Generac. And to get a Generac, you'll definitely call Master Electrical. Like Dave said, they maintain the highest standards, and they also have different financing plans depending on your budget.
Just go to masterelectrical.com.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Good morning. I'm the 40% off window company.
40% off? Of what?
Hey, 40% off.
Yeah, I'll bet it's your biggest sale of the year. This week only, because you need a model home in our neighborhood. Well, nothing. It's baloney. Hi, this is Kathy.
And Doug of Window World. When you hear those things, you know you've entered the baloney zone.
Resist the force of the baloney zone.
Find Window World online at windowworldutah.com.
Or call Window World at 281-8111. That's 281-8111.
And that's no baloney.
Take a moment to listen, really listen. You can hear the world around you, but can you hear clearly? If not, turn a new page in your life. Turn to My Hearing Centers. Research shows good hearing stimulates your brain, which reduces memory loss and helps maintain a higher quality of life. If you're dealing with hearing loss, you owe it to yourself to call My Hearing Centers and schedule a free consultation. 801-701-1629. 801-701-1629 with locations from Ogden to St. George. My Hearing Centers, changing lives through better hearing.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Ricky Meese.
A new accident in Utah County, southbound I-15 at Pleasant Grove Boulevard on the shoulder, and in downtown a two-vehicle crash, 8th East, 3rd South, blocking traffic. The best-kept secret is This is the Pass. It's a pass for fun for everyone. Now through April 30th, save $20 off every annual pass level. 362 days of fun. Visit thisisthepass.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
South winds will push today's highs into the low 80s, then temperatures drop into the 50s tomorrow with a chance of rain, and rain is likely on Friday. Right now we're at 72 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Who among us hasn't been stuck at the ticket counter at the, airlines, at the airport? You're on delay. You can't figure out if you get a refund. If you don't get a refund, if you have to submit a form and wait 42 million days to get your money back. Well, the Biden administration just put some new rules in place. Here's ABC News' Alex Stone to bring us up to speed, and then we're going to flush this one out.
When the pandemic upended the world of travel, airlines often fought giving passengers their money back. Now the Department of Transportation is implementing new rules that will force airlines to give cash refunds if flights are canceled or severely delayed. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
If an airline cancels or significantly delays your flight, within 7 days they will be required to provide an automatic refund.
Not just a credit to use later, as some airlines like to do. Alex Stone, ABC News.
I've received credit, absolutely. In fact, I just saw the KSL investigative team do a story about how those credits have been stolen and used. So the idea of cashing out and giving it directly back to you, that seems like a great win.
Good, because I'm sick and tired of this being a brain twister in my life. Like, I don't know what the rules are. I don't have time to look up the Federal Registry when I'm standing there. If you're going to cancel my flight or significantly delay it, and I have been delayed. There was a time I was delayed overnight. There was a time I was delayed for 6 hours. There was a time we were taxiing on the runway. They turned around and they let us sit out there. We were baking for I don't remember how long. It was miserable. I want to know that I'm going to get what my rights are, and this makes it clear. You get a cash refund. You get a cash refund. No more of these, coupons that they've cut up, and look like they've cut up by third graders. You get a cash refund and you get it to your credit card. So that's one of the new rules. There's a whole list of new rules that were just unveiled.
Can I give a little credit where credit's due?
Please.
I love that President Biden is tackling junk fees. And this is junk fees when it comes to airlines. They're charging you, extra stuff, where this is a refund. But he's also addressed junk fees.
With airlines.
Where they're tacking on, nickel and diming you left and right. One of the things that they've done, and you may think, oh, this is small potatoes, this doesn't matter. We can walk and chew gum at the same time, folks. Let's celebrate when good things happen. And addressing junk fees, that affects us.
So one of the other rules, speaking to junk fees, they outline this. The Department of Transportation is requiring airlines and ticket agents to tell consumers up front what fees they charge for checked bags, a carry-on bag, for changing a reservation, or canceling a reservation. Love this rule as well. I think many of us have been caught in cancellation mode. Maybe there's something that happens in our family last minute. We can't make the flight. And we have no idea if that ticket is going to be transferable, if they're going to make good on it later. And when you're traveling, I've just got down to traveling with a backpack only because I'm so tired of trying to figure out how much I'm going to owe for that, a checked bag.
And some airlines are very clear. They basically say you can walk on with the clothes on your back and maybe a laptop. Nothing else. We're going to charge you for everything else. And I actually appreciate that. I like the a la carte nature of it because every trip is different. I might need a bag. I might need a carry-on on one. I might be able to go in my T-shirt the next. So as long as they're very clear what's up front, this is a little caveat I would like to see. This is optional. Let's just be very clear that you don't need this if you want to travel. And this is where I think there's some ambiguity. The airlines don't want you to know what is optional, what is mandatory, because, they're hoping that you'll just keep clicking yes, 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 yes to all the extra fees.
When I'm flying, when I'm buying a ticket, I don't want to feel like a mouse in a maze and there's no cheese at the end of this thing.
True.
And that's what I end up happening so often. And I've been flying and traveling for decades now. And I'm like, why does this get more complicated, more expensive, more individual fees? I thought this was included with my ticket. So this is clarifying this new rule by the Biden administration that, airlines must give you a refund, a cash refund, or to your credit card within 7 days of a seriously delayed flight, something that becomes a massive inconvenience. So that spells it out. It talks about spelling out what fees they're going to charge you for cancellations or for baggage. Love that as well. Here's another part of the rule that I really appreciate. It says, inform consumers that seats are guaranteed. How often are you booking a flight and all of these price options pop up on the individual seat? You see the 747 graphic come up on your app and now you got to pick a seat. I was literally under the impression that I had to buy a $29 seat or a $19 seat in addition to my ticket. And it's nope, when offering an advanced seat assignment for a fee, airlines and ticket agents must let consumers know that purchasing a seat is not necessary to travel.
One thing that frustrates me about that is if you buy two seats, if you buy two tickets, it's not a guarantee, and they almost purposely make sure you are not sitting next to each other. unless you buy a seat, unless you say, okay, I want a premium seat, I want to choose my seats, pay the extra fee to be able to sit next to your spouse. Last time my wife and I traveled, we bought 2 tickets, the exact same time, the exact same credit card, and we were 12 rows apart.
Oh.
Because they want to force you into the upgrade to be able to sit next to each other.
Yeah, that's
like you guys couldn't piece this together. Same reservation, same credit card.
Yeah, same last name. Yeah. Okay, as I'm reading this list of things they're doing away with under this rule, I'm starting to feel a little bit like, wow, we were really getting had in a lot of ways as air travelers. It also says they're forcing the airlines to end discount bait and switch tactics. Who hasn't clicked on what they thought was going to be, a $120 round trip ticket, and then by the time the wheel of death on the website spins you into the website, it's not, a $120 bargain basement ticket. You find out, no, it's $240 or it's $300. I see this all the time, and I feel so had when that happens. I have actually gone down the rabbit hole, Dave, of trying to make an entire reservation to fly out of town and then return on that same airline, only to learn by the time you get to the checkout, it's like $200 more than what?
And that could be a deal breaker.
That feels like a bait and switch.
It absolutely is, and I think we're making some good steps forward to put this up front, because I don't want to go down the 37 different clicks and then finally realize, oh, it's not a $49 flight, it's a $179 flight. That could be the difference.
Okay.
Maybe it's not the deal.
So we have a win for Biden today. With airline fees and junk fees and getting rid of those and holding the airlines accountable. Hopefully it saves us a ton of money as well. Hopefully. I mean, at least I'm not going to be spending $59 to upgrade a seat that I already had and didn't realize that I already had that seat because I've already bought the ticket. So I appreciate that. That's going away. Straight ahead, it sounds like the new is in town. You know what I'm saying?
The NHL? Yeah, those guys too. The hockey guys.
They're in town. There's going to be a party this afternoon. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is going to head across the street, and they're going to broadcast live from the party at the Delta Center starting at 4:00. But remember their last game at that tiny little arena that the Coyotes were playing in? Here's my message to my fellow Phoenicians. We'll take it from here next.
Dave and Dujanovic.
You know KSL is the only news radio for your car, right?
The only news radio for your smart speaker.
Come here in the morning. It's the latest news and traffic. In the afternoon, news and updated weather.
We have you covered at KSL News Radio.
Everyone's house is different, but they're all the same in one way. We all have those places where the Wi-Fi just won't go. I mean, for you, maybe it's the attic. For me, it's my basement. Well, if you had wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you could worry less about these dead spots. Finally. With wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity, you get fast speeds throughout your home, a reliable connection in every room, and power for all your devices, even when everybody's online. That's wall-to-wall Wi-Fi, only on the Xfinity 10G network. Get wall-to-wall Wi-Fi from Xfinity for a reliable connection throughout your home now through June 21st. New customers can get started with gig speed internet for $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and free Wi-Fi equipment included when you add unlimited mobile. Here's what you do. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, that's 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. I want to tell you about our famous "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. That's right. It's a warranty you don't need, but we give it to you anyway. Let me explain. Most warranty problems for siding, gutters, and windows are caused by not installing stuff right in the first place. If you rush the work, cut corners, or use subpar materials, you're just begging for problems later. At RGS Exteriors, we don't tolerate careless workmanship. We slow down, focus on every detail, and use only the best materials. We prevent warranty work by doing the job right in the first place. That's why the 10-year everything guarantee we give you is also known as our "You Don't Need a Warranty" warranty. We absolutely will be there if you need to use it. But honestly, you probably will never have to. Done right the first time. That's the RGS way. For siding, gutters, and windows, call 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsexteriors.com.
The life of a small business owner. Keeping the lights on, calling all the shots. And then there's workplace accidents. 500-degree ovens, rusty nails. Danger lurks around every corner. Workplace accidents can happen, but there is an easy way to keep your employees covered. Talk to your agent about workers' comp coverage from Pi, or go to piinsurance.com and get a quote. Safety first, then Pi Insurance. Individual rates, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to policy terms and conditions. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Every business faces challenges, but complicated, expensive, and uncertain shipping shouldn't be one of them.
With USPS Ground Advantage from the United States Postal Service, you can avoid all the noise.
No more unexpected surcharges, hidden fees, or complex rate structures.
It's just easy, cost-effective, and dependable shipping. Tune your business's frequency to success and turn shipping to your advantage. Learn how at USPS.com/advantage. USPS Ground Advantage. Simple, affordable, reliable.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Pure Credit Club is a credit counseling service dedicated to helping Utahns revitalize their credit so they can enjoy lower interest rates, less debt, and more financial freedom. Founder Jean-Pierre Rougeau Okosun joins us with more.
Are you happy with your credit score? When it comes to your finances, are you thriving or merely surviving? At Pure Credit Club, we believe that you are the author of your own prosperity in every form in which it manifests itself. That's why we are committed to helping our clients restore, rebuild, and raise their credit so they can get their financial future back. We believe that education is the key to restoring your credit. Our team of credit restoration experts will provide guidance on the processes of credit restoration and debt settlement. We're here to help you rewrite your narrative, create generational wealth, and embrace boundless opportunities. With Pure Credit Club, you can join a community dedicated to personal growth, one member at a time. Elevate your financial standing and reap the rewards of good credit rates, enhanced opportunities, and financial freedom. Get started at purecreditclub.com.
By offering reliable credit education, personalized counseling, and solution-oriented strategy, Pure Credit Club can empower you to take control of your own financial narrative. Learn more at their website. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, firefighters had to make a tough decision to get rid of an old stash of dynamite by setting it off inside the house where it was found. Second, a couple more names have been submitted to the trademark office for Utah's new NHL team, the Utah Mammoth and the Utah Ice. Third, the high school in Cedar City will stay with its new name instead of going back to the old one. 72 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Arizona's loss is Utah's gain. And we kick things off this afternoon, 4 o'clock at the Delta Center. Jeff Kaplan broadcasting live. It's, of course, right across the street here, Broadcast House, to welcome the new NHL team to Utah.
And let's be completely honest with ourselves right here. As excited as we are, the NHL players, their lives have been tipped upside down. Many of them were either drafted by the Arizona Coyotes or they chose in free agency to go live in Phoenix. They consciously made the decision to live there, move their family there. Now all of that has been thrown into absolute chaos. They have to move here. There's got to be some conflicting feelings there. That being said, I promise you, NHL players that are listening right now, you're going to love it here.
Well, this is from KSL Sports. JJ, that sounds like the team arriving here.
That is.
Wow.
That's into I did get the airport terminal right off of a Delta flight here into town, and the reception they received, you can hear it there. Pretty awesome that people showed out today, and it's going to be bigger and better this afternoon at Delta Center starting at 4 o'clock. It's going to be awesome.
JJ, that sounded like more than just a handful of people. Who showed up?
But my understanding, it was a lot of youth hockey players and their families. So that's not even like the general public showing up, and that was how big of a crowd they got. So you could hear it. There was not like 10 people showing up with, you know what I mean? There was probably 1,000 kids there with posters and jerseys ready to sign, and the players got right off the plane and went right to the fans, which was pretty cool to see. But great reception there at the airport, and can't wait to see what happens tonight. It's going to be crazy.
Well, and it really is. It's a community coming together. We always do this in Utah, no matter what it is, rain or shine, we're there. Ryan Smith, as you know, spoke to our colleague here at KSL, JJ, Sam Farnsworth, about the NHL and the team being a community asset.
It's a little daunting. Like, I mean, the deal was daunting to get to this point, but it's all happened quick, and I think everyone's just going to take a deep breath and say, okay, we got to do this, but at the same time, we've got a big summer in basketball, and but we've got a lot of people in this community want to help. We're not going to be able to do it alone. This is a community asset. It's for everyone, and we're going to use everyone. Like, we need everyone's help.
They do. JJ of JJ and Alex on the line with us. Of course, you can hear them every afternoon from 3 to 6 on KSL Sports Zone. They are going to need a lot of help. It sounds like they already have a lot of support in the way of ticket sales. People are getting really excited about this, or the potential for ticket sales.
Almost 30,000 season ticket deposits. And by deposits, you have to put down $100 as a deposit. This is not just people saying, hey, I'm interested. This is people that are already willing to pay money just to be on a list. 30,000, the place is only going to seat 16,500 next year. Once the renovations are done, they're going to get it into about 17,300, 17,500. And you already know you have double capacity interest. And everybody's fired up for this. There's no doubt that they're going to fill that. And I've also learned that very little of that is Utah Jazz season ticket crossover. That's an entirely new fan base, a new marketplace here of sports fans in Utah that want to support this hockey team. It's not like Jazz season ticket holders getting on the board too. This is a new group of fans. It shows you that this market is capable of supporting multiple pro sports franchises. It's just another example of that.
That is an incredible development. I assumed because Ryan Smith had talked about that, there was going to be some preference to Jazz season ticket holders. Some of those rumors were going out there. But, a fresh set of fans, a different market, that's a game changer for this place.
No doubt about it. And it's pretty cool to see that when there was a lot of questions about whether or not we could do that. I think a lot of people nationally, I saw some, national talking heads saying, why would they give Utah another franchise? How's that going to work? Well, I think we're proving it now, and people here are proving it now. Yeah. What you saw at the airport this morning is proving it. What you're going to see tonight is proving it. And when they drop the puck in the end of September, early October, when that team plays its first game, that place is going to be unbelievable. And it's a testament to people here, like Ryan's saying, people will show up and people will support. And I think we're seeing that right now. And I'm glad, and I think everybody should be fortunate. You can have your opinions on Ryan Smith, that's fine, but you can't question this, that he gets it. He's doing all this. He's not doing it to make money or to, I don't know. He's not doing it for himself. He really, truly is doing it for this place because he cares about it, and he wants to see this place reach its potential, and you're starting to see that.
JJ, what do you know about this afternoon's event over there at the Delta Center? I had read somewhere that it might be giving away some tickets or some preseason tickets. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I believe there's 5,000 vouchers. I'm not going to put a number on that.
No, I think I read 5,000.
Is it 5,000 vouchers for preseason game?
Yeah.
So that's part of the giveaways, and this is going to hook everybody. Free J-Dogs.
What?
So I don't know a Utah that's not going to turn down a free J-Dog. You better get down to Delta Center.
I might be staying downtown all afternoon for that. That's awesome. Are they going to get to meet the players?
So at 4:00, everybody's going to come out and party on the portal. And if you like adult beverages, they're going to have those as well. So you got J-Dogs and that other part too. Wow. And then once 5:30, the event's going to start. They're going to open the doors. Fans can go inside. That's where you're going to hear from the head coach, Andre Tourigny, GM Bill Armstrong, Ryan Smith, and a couple players. And so everyone's going to get a chance to go inside the arena, right around the ice, and cheer and welcome this team onto the ice for the first time, and it's going to be amazing.
JJ, thanks. Best of luck. I know it's going to be an exciting environment there. That's why we're going to be there at KSL News Radio. Look forward to your show. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah,
can't wait. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, JJ and Alex, you guys do such a great job. We so appreciate you jumping on the air here with, our fans. Our fans of the D2 show now. KSL Sports Zone from 3 to 6 every weekday on 97.5 FM. Just don't tell these players that it's going to be like 93 today in Phoenix, and we'll be lucky to maybe get. Oh, we're at 72 right now.
Yeah, 81 is the high. It's going to be beautiful today.
Our FING. Don't tell them our FING, our fake spring returns tomorrow, or like we get hit by that again tomorrow where the temperature dips, but it's going to be beautiful here. They're going to love it here.
They're hockey players. They're fine. They're tough.
They're going to love the fan base. They already love the fan base. Good job getting out there. You said you saw a picture of Mayor Aaron Mendenhall. Was that? Oh.
Yeah, there's videos out there. It seems like all the youth hockey kids showed up.
That's awesome.
Well done.
Maria has more on this next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake